That Washington football team is really fucking good.
Everything we do is going to be about winning. Okay, we're going to learn to do things the right way, and that's the only way we're going to do them. Because if it doesn't help us, we're not doing it, man. That's just as simple as it gets. Win the Super Bowl. That's I mean it, too. You know, one of the things that the only reason you become a head coach in this league, in my opinion, is to win. That's it. That's the bottom line. If you do it for any other reason, you're wrong.
Hey, Washington football fans, welcome back. And welcome in to any other football fans that have found this video. First off, I want to go ahead and apologize if any of these picks upset you. Just trying to have a bit of fun here. And as far as I'm concerned with team building, the only thing better than adding talent is adding local talent. And I recently did a full 7-round, 13-pick mock for my Washington football team of only local talents. And, you know, recently I've also come up with a little conspiracy theory of where I think some of these quarterback prospects might end up in the draft. So I figured, what the heck? Let's do a first-round mock for everybody. And just like the magic words that Dorothy chanted when she clicked those ruby red slippers together, there's no place like home. So with that in mind, I think that's all worked out pretty well. You know, it's not ridiculously strict. There's some reaches, a lot of reaches. Like, I try to keep most of the, you know, mostly the first rounders, even if the order is a little screwy at times. And they're not going to be hometown, more home state, because it's pretty hard to find hometown guys. But yeah, I try not to make it too crazy. Try to make it fit. There are trades. Unfortunately, there are some teams that have to trade entirely out of the round that won't be in this mock because they just don't have any local talent. With that said, let's kick this off with an easy one. What I think should be the pick in real life probably will be the pick. I don't care what anybody's saying about best available and one of these edge rushers going number 1 overall. The Jacksonville Jaguars have 2 first-round picks already spent on edge rusher. They've invested at that position already. Even if Chason is kind of disappointing, I still don't see him going for a third one. Instead, they have the highest rated quarterback prospect in the last 20 years. They need to protect that guy. No better way to do it than with the top guy in the class, who happens to be Okeechobee, Florida's own Evan Neal. So they got a Florida guy, Sunshine State boy. He might be from 3 hours away from Jacksonville, still in Florida. It fits. It's just perfect. Evan Neal to Jacksonville. Hey, that almost rhymed. If I would have really let my twang come out, that would have rhymed. Pick 2, Detroit Lions. You know, once again, as if by divine providence, top end pick here. This guy is projected here. Aidan Hutchinson gets to stay where he was born and raised in Michigan, and his mom's happy. Got to go to college here. He's going to play pro here. If anybody's adjusted to the dreary life, he is. So Aidan Hutchinson staying in Detroit. Pick 3, I have to get a little cheeky here. Kind of wanted to, like, what would help, you know? The Texans have this pick. Are we going to let them kind of ruin another, you know, waste years on another high-end edge rusher like they did with J.J. Watt, who, I mean, they had some pretty decent teams for a while, but then a good part of his career got wasted being there. Instead, I got him trading back so that I don't really mess up the draft order here that much. They trade back to the Chargers pick, so the Chargers can come up and bring Kayvon Thibodeau home from dreary Oregon to the sunny streets of LA, where he's from. Now, I know everybody is calling for, you know, interior run defenders, but you're the Chargers. Why not make a pass rushing duo that steps in and immediately challenges my Washington football team as the best edge rushing duo in football. I think it's an even nastier one on paper. So, Kayvon Thibodeau and Joey Bosa, that's sick. Who cares about a little run stopping if you could just mollywop the quarterback every time? And then pick 4, the New York Jets. This is a bit of a stretch. This is kind of crazy. Had to do some hardcore mental gymnastics to make this work. But George Karlaftis, everybody's saying this is a Rob Salah guy. Everybody's mocking him here with their next pick. I'll just go ahead and get him out of the way here. They need edge rusher. Now, Karlaftis was born and raised in Greece until he was a teenager. And you guys know there ain't no Greek NFL teams. But the New York, New Jersey metropolitan area is the home to the largest Greek population in the U.S., as well as anywhere outside of Greece in the world. So, while there's no place like home, maybe somewhere like home would do in a pinch. George Karlaftis to the New York Jets. Pick 5, New York Giants. This is actually what set my old noodle in the path to coming up with a little quarterback conspiracy here. I think New York's season has basically been over all year. And once the season ends, Lion season begins. The draft season's Lion season. Free agency is Lion season. Can't believe anything that anybody says, but we've all been willing to believe that they're going to give Danny Dimes another shot. I don't think that's happening. They got a new coach now. I think they're moving on. And I think it's also been kind of hidden by this narrative that there's a second coming of Dan Marino out there. And there's a guy that the Steelers should get as the second coming of Dan Marino. And just because he plays at Pitt, they're acting like he's a lifetime Yinzer. But this guy is a Jersey boy through and through. Kenny Pickett was born and raised in Oakhurst, New Jersey, an hour's drive from the Meadowlands. I bet Kenny Pickett grew up pretending to throw helmet catches in his backyard to dethrone TB12 and the evil empire from up north in Foxborough. Just like Eli the Pretty Good. Giants here get their guy and bring a little bit of that ever so annoying Jersey swagger to Big Blue. Now, the fans in New York and people in the state of New York have apparently talked about suing the Giants and the Jets for claiming New York and being so bad. Well, they get a quarterback from Jersey so they can step into it. Like, well, screw you guys. We're the Jersey Giants now. Pick 6, another quarterback needy team, the Carolina Panthers. They might be saddled with Sam Darnold contract-wise for next season, but it won't stop them from following New York's lead and grabbing the next best quarterback, in my opinion. Off the board, I got him taken from Indian Trail, North Carolina, the Tar Heels' very own Sam freaking Howell. Perfect fit. He's mobile enough not to die behind that line. And they can use the rest of the draft to help him out there. He's got the mobility to buy him time and feed that pretty decent wide receiver group. I mean, they got plenty of talent there. They bring Robbie Anderson. They got a deep threat. He's got all the arm in the world to get it to him. Got DJ Moore. They got Terrence Marshall in the draft last year. He could come into a really good situation. Pick 7. Back to the Giants. Now, offensive line would make the most sense, of course. And I think they've already got 3 third-rounders. They have an early second-rounder. They can probably offload Daniel Jones and get even more. So I'm not going there. I'm not going to offensive line. They could build that up later. I'm actually going to go with one of their other needs, edge rusher. I'm going to go with David Ojabo from Michigan. David Ojabo was born in Nigeria, grew up in Scotland, but at 17 years of age, he moved to Blairston, New Jersey. So they get to claim him. Jersey boy David Ojabo to the Giants. Pick 8, Atlanta. Well, there's no shortage of high-end talent that call Georgia home. It's actually kind of crazy. And with Matt Ryan being up there in dog years, they're still tied to him for at least another year because of that contract. Why not bring in possibly the most high ceiling quarterback in the draft, but arguably the most in need of development? You know, I'm sure he's got Georgia on his mind with him holding that 8th pick, Atlanta's own Malik Willis. Matt Ryan, with his precision style, would be the perfect quarterback to temper Malik's insane raw passing ability, and perfect guy to mentor him. You know, Atlanta can end up with the perfect blend of Matty Ice and his predecessor, Mike Vick, with Malik Willis. And then they could pair him with Kyle Pitts, who's an alien. He's an unstoppable completion machine that's like Julio 2.0. You put those two guys together, and the future's crazy bright down there. I can't see why they wouldn't do that. That's perfect. Pick 9, Denver. They just don't have much in the way of first round prospects, but I was going to go into some convoluted spiel about Elway and Carson Strong and California kid in Denver, but no, there's just no way to kind of do that. Let's just say Denver somehow wins the Aaron Rodgers franchise, brings Aaron Rodgers over, but manages to keep this pick. And then they just do a super reach. This guy could make it to a second round. He could be a second rounder. But I think he, right there with Chad Muma, is the best Colorado prospect in the draft. And they don't really need it. They got Noah Fant, but let's give Rodgers 2 monster pass-catching tight ends and give him Trey McBride from Colorado. Let's go. Trey McBride, he gets to stay right at home Rocky Mountain High. Pick 10, you know, the Jets with no native picks like in the, you know, relative area. I think they instead would pick up the phone here while dropping back 7 spots and taking the call from New Orleans, who want to move up to 10. Now, New Orleans isn't moving up for a quarterback. There's not really one here. Not even for wide receiver like most people think. Instead, I think New Orleans moves up here to address another position. You know, there's no way they can afford to franchise tag Marcus Washington again. So they address the safety position. They address the safety position by moving ball-hawking cornerback Paulson Adebo over to the free safety position so they can make room for possibly the best homegrown prospect since Tre'Davious White, Honey Badger, LeBron Landry, even, you know, best LSU prospect since Pat P in Derek Stingley Jr. No way he can make it out of the top 10. Sean Payton might not like it, but his team has found an identity as a dominant defense this year. And that defense has carried them through shutting Tom Brady down since he's been in the division. And they get to add more firepower to deal with that Tampa passing attack. You know, I'm not just pulling that whole Adebo thing out of my ass either. He was projected as a free safety, you know, coming into the draft. They're like, hey, this guy can move to free safety. And Williams' contract is rough. They're not going to be able to bring him back. So they move Adebo over to ball hawk in the secondary while they got the craziest shutdown corner group with Lattimore and Stingley. Pick 11, my Washington football team. It's kind of sad here. There aren't any locals. If we needed edge rusher, I'd go Arnold Ebiketie. If I could move, I would think about moving back and taking linebacker Brandon Smith or Zion Johnson. But instead, I'm going to trade this pick away to Ron Rivera's former team, the Carolina Panthers. Let's just say we get something crazy for it, like a first and a second next year, Jeremy Chin and Maryland native linebacker Jermaine Carter, something like that. But anyway, pick 11 going to the Carolina Panthers so they can bring in some help to protect their hometown quarterback with NC State standout offensive lineman and real-life version of Marvel's The Thing, Ikemekwana. Now, pairing this beast along with Taylor Moton should give Sam Howell at least a fighting chance. And it could possibly launch Carolina into legit contender status. They have a good defense, had a lot of injuries. They get everybody back healthy this year, get a good quarterback like Howell, get a good guy to protect them, a freak of nature like Ikemekwana. They could be looking really good. So, pick 12, the Vikings. Everybody goes corner here for Minnesota's pick. And they need help there, of course. But there's an absolute freak of nature that used to roam the prairie up in Minnesota. Eden Prairie, to be exact. Then he went to JUCO. Then he went to Georgia. Then he found himself at FSU Wrecking Shop. It's time to return him to his natural habitat. Jermaine Johnson, straight up monster. He's going to test out freaky. He's probably going to ruin some poor offensive linemen and quarterbacks draft stock at the Senior Bowl. And he's going to rocket up boards. Jermaine Johnson would be nasty across from Danielle Hunter. It would just be nuts. So, hometown guy, perfect fit. Pick 13, the Browns. Baker Mayfield's in the hot seat. Got to give him some more weapons to see if he's worthy of being paid. Well, they got a guy that was born, a wayward son of Ohio, who was born there, moved away to Texas at 11, but he got lured back by the bright lights of the Ohio State, and he showed how much he wanted to come home with his Ohio State commit. He went straight to work as a freshman, and he's been working ever since. So Baker gets another great target with Garrett Wilson, Ohio State wide receiver. He might be kind of more the same as Jarvis Landry, but I think he's a special talent, and he's got a real chance to be a hometown hero at the NFL and earn Baker some money. Pick 14, the Ravens, corner, all kinds of stuff like that you look at, but the Ravens kind of just go for whatever the hell they want to in the draft, it seems like. And last year, they might have ended up with a Dafiel Way, and he looks like he's going to be a solid pass rusher. But at the same time, Justin Houston looks like he should be put out the pasture pretty soon. Sorry. But, so, more pass rush. And they get to bring in Maryland native Arnold Ebiketie here. He's the dude. The force of nature. This guy bet on himself big time this year. Moving from, I think it was Tulane up to way, way better competition at Penn State, and he just went off. He can go to the Ravens and continue to go off in that great defense. So, perfect. No, great pick there. Just sad that Washington doesn't get him. Pick 15, as a Washington fan, I hate Philly on par with Dallas. So, I'm honestly going to do them a huge favor that would be terrifying to us in Washington, while also removing all the fun of, shiny new draft picks. last year would have been the year for Philly to have picked up high-end locals with Kyle Pitts or Christian Barmore, but they missed out on that. I didn't do this, they didn't do that. So even though Jalen Hurts has looked decent, they made the playoffs, I still think that quarterback is a place they could improve in a huge way. And here, I think it can be considered a huge favor for them. But in a shocking move, Philly trades its 3 first-round picks and Jalen Hurts, who is a Houston native, for Deshaun Watson and Brandon Cook, because I'm being nice. Now, that doesn't give Philly any extra, hometown guys, but there just aren't any in this draft. So they get to be an instant Super Bowl contender while the Texans get enough draft capital and a Houston native quarterback to really change the whole outlook of their franchise. So starting it out, pick 15, Texans on the board. Their first pick, monster on the D-line, hometown version of J.J. Watt, maybe? Hometown replacement for J.J. Watt? This D-line kaiju from Texas A&M, DeMarvin Leal. He's just a monster. He's a beast. He can play out on the edge. He can play inside. He's like J.J. Watt. I mean, maybe not as productive or explosive, but a lot of the similar traits. Let's bring him in. And then at 16, with right back at it, we'll hit the other trenches, the other side of the ball for the Texans, and stay in the same school, bring in other home state guy, Kenyon Green. Now, Kenyon Green is a monster. He might be bigger and nastier than DeMarvin Leal. He might be, he's a violent man. Now, pair him, maybe Laramie Tunsil can stick around now now that he would have some help beside him, and there's hope for future. They got a quarterback like Jalen Hurts, Kenyon Green, Laramie Tunsil. Things are looking up. Then pick 17. This is the pick that the Texans got from the Chargers. They got one of their best players, Justin Reed, safety, heading out on free agency. They got a chance to replace him here with a hometown guy, Lewis Cine, from safety from Georgia. I mean, he was born in Haiti. His family lived in a lot of places, but he moved to Texas with his uncle so he could play for Deion Sanders at Texas, at Trinity Christian in Texas. So Cine was kind of viewed as like a second rounder, but after getting defensive player in the game, in the championship game, and winning the national championship for the first time since 1980, I think he's going to get bumped up to the first round, and he gets to go home here. So we get a break from the Texans pick, and we're back to New York. At this point with the Jets, we're far enough back that I think it's got great value. We grab Newark, New Jersey native wide receiver Jahan Dotson. With this, I know we should probably go offensive line, but we take the Bengals approach and just get open receivers out there for Zach Wilson so he can get rid of the ball quicker. That's another way to protect the quarterback. Give him open options quicker. So Jahan Dotson, Elijah Moore. I mean, they already got some good offensive line pieces. They just need to be healthy next year, like Mekhi Becton and Elijah Vera Tucker. They could bring in Brandon Sheriff and put him next to Morgan Moses that they already picked up. They could have a good offensive line through free agency. Give him a good offensive weapon. Hometown guy, Newark, New Jersey native, Jahan Dotson. Pick 19, another Texans pick, but with all this luxury extra picks, they're going to go ahead and trade back to get some extra capital. They're going to let the Buccaneers come up so they can stack up on some of that Sunshine State talent with cornerback Kaiir Elam. He's a beast, freak of nature cornerback. He's going to go in the first round. The Buccaneers possibly lined up to lose Carlton Davis in free agency, and they do not want to find themselves down bad again in the secondary this year. So go out there and get a high-end guy that can start right away. Pick 20, Pittsburgh. You know, there's quite a few things Pittsburgh needs, especially on the offensive side of the ball, but trying to go local, trying to shop local. And we got a 2-4 here. First, they get to get rid of Terrell Edmonds, you know, that's not been good. And also give Minkah Fitzpatrick the most dependable defensive player in the entire draft in Pittsburgh native and tackling robot Jaquan Brisker to partner with. You put this guy back, he is maximum security over the top. That will free Minkah Fitzpatrick up to fly all around the field and make plays. This is a move that will go a long way to getting that defense back to the dominance it displayed last year. So yeah, Jaquan Brisker from Penn State, Pittsburgh native, monster. Doesn't miss tackles, doesn't get beat in coverage. The definition of safety. Pick 21, Patriots do what Patriots do. Trade back here. Colts trade up out of the second round into the first so they can select Indy's own Purdue wide receiver, David Bell. With T.Y. Hilton getting long in the tooth and there just not being much legit pass catching, talent there, we bring in a legit hometown boy here to pair with Michael Pittman and give Carson Wentz some real passing options. And most importantly, lighten Jonathan Taylor's load. He's not carrying the ball like 600 times a game. Moving on. Pick 22, the Dolphins. Surprisingly, there isn't anything close to a real need in this range. There's a lot of Florida talent, but there's just not anything close to what they need in this range. But we've got possibilities. I think we can improve and solidify the eliteness of one of the best groups on their team here. And, it could, replace a pretty good free agency loss. I went with making that secondary more elite here. They've got an elite pair of cornerbacks. They've got an elite level safety in Javon Holland. Well, pair him with another could-be elite level safety in Jordan Battle, who's from Fort Lauderdale, Alabama's Jordan Battle. He's a beast, monster, super freak athlete. I mean, man, Jordan Battle, Javon Holland, Xavier Howard, and Byron Jones. That's just crazy, crazy secondary. Raiders, man, screw that move to Vegas. I almost gave up here and was like, nah, we're gonna go back to California for this pick. Edifying Yolo Fascio could have been a first rounder if he would have built off of last season, but he regressed heavily. Bubba Bolden is got the athleticism and traits of a first rounder, but just all over the place and probably going to be like a day 3 guy. I could have just been like, hey, you know what? We're going to claim California so we can grab Chris Olave and replace the stain on the ledger that's Henry Ruggs. All that aside, I was like, no. There's a guy. It's a big reach. But the Raiders do that. The Raiders reach big. So this is in character. But we get a high character guy to pair with the new coaching staff who's hopefully full of high character guys and, make the team better. And that guy is a high motor, high character, Haskell Garrett. Garrett moved to Vegas when he was 13. He's lived there ever since. You know, he's got some size questions, but this dude is nonstop going. He's like the 300-pound Energizer Bunny of pain, you know. And you know who else is a high motor, undersized defensive interior player? Aaron Donald. No, I'm not saying Garrett is the next Donald, but I just want to throw it out there that everybody loses their mind about Aaron Donald including knife fighting defense into his training. Well, Garrett was shot in the face. That's right, shot in the face. Last year, trying to be a good Samaritan, gets shot in the face, and still, you know, he gets lucky. It's like profile in one cheek, out the other, kind of like Fight Club at the end. Boom. He still manages to flee, like beat feet, get out of there after getting shot in the head, and Pete Werner finds him. But yeah, you can't take out those big Polynesian dudes with headshots. Just can't do it. There's like 100 years of boxing and fighting and mixed martial arts that shows you just can't take those guys down with headshots. Doesn't even matter if you got a gun. So yeah, Haskell was ready for ball the next, like right after that happened, like I think it was like 7 months later, he's ready for ball, and he's looked great. So the Raiders get inexcusable reach here, in my opinion. 24, sorry Cardinals fans. I know you have needs, but you know, you can fill them in the second or next year with extra picks because there ain't nobody for you. But the Falcons are trading back into the first for some more of that sweet, sweet native Georgia talent. And they're getting A.J. Terrell's old Clemson buddy, Andrew Booth Jr. One of the best corners in the draft, slides all the way to 24 because of the theme alone. And the Falcons get to snap them up here. So, yeah, they got a high potential quarterback and they got a great corner. So pick 25, Cincy. You know, they really need some interior offensive line depth. Last year in the second round, you know, they took a local, you know, Jack Carman, and he still needs some time to develop into his full potential. But here's you know, we can slap another native Ohioan outside of him at right tackle or at the other guard position to really help Burrow out. You know, Ohio kids all around. You know, let's bring in a mauler, the plus-size Jason Momoa, Darian Kinnard himself to really beef things up. He's athletic. He's nasty. He's not left tackle material, but they don't need that because they got Jonah, what's his name? But on the right side or in the interior, he would be great. Bring Kinnard home. So, pick 26, the Bills. Now, I don't want to piss off the Bills Mafia. I mean, they did blow my Washington football team out of the water this year. And I know that some of those old heads are probably still sore that we were part of that 4-season stretch where Jim Kelly got to the Super Bowl every year only to get beat by the NFC East. You know, we all took turns. Everybody but Philly was just like, and like just held the Lombardi above your head. Yeah. But I know there's probably still some old heads mad about that. So I'm not going to trade you guys out of the first round, even though we're into our 5th pick from New York. And you guys don't have that New Jersey connection. I mean, I guess I could look for Canadians, but there's no Ben St. Juste this year. And I just don't know where else to go for you guys, and I don't want to make you really mad by trading back. So the only thing I could do here is reach for somebody who maybe works his way into the late second, third round, and give Josh Allen one of the toughest 2 tight end sets in all of football, pairing Dawson Knox with tough as nails, do it all, Ohio tight end, Jeremy Ruckert, who just happens to be from Lindenhurst, New York. So that's not a bad pick, you know, Jeremy Ruckert. Solid as a rock, man. Thank God this is winding down, and like I got a couple easy ones here. Detroit back at it again. Now, this is just a luxury here. So instead of looking for any real needs, we just got the luxury here being like, hey, Sauce Gardner's from Detroit. Let's bring the secret sauce to this Detroit defense. Ahmad Gardner and an already stacked secondary. I think you can move, Efetu Melifonwu to safety, and then Sauce and Okudah on the outside. You even get to move, I don't care if he's a top 5 pick, you get to move Okudah out to cornerback 2, make things easier on him. Man, that could be a nasty secondary. The kind of stuff that would, Aidan Hutchinson in that defense, rushing the passer, them throwing up ducks while you got Sauce, Melifonwu, and Okudah out there. That could make for a nasty defense. 28. Nobody cares. Like, I don't care about the Cowboys. Get the Cowboys. But, so I know they're really digging like multiple safety looks, and I didn't want to put a lot of energy into finding the Cowboys picks. Leon O'Neal might be like a 2nd or a 3rd rounder. I think he's a beast. I think he's like a human missile. Very violent, very nasty. I like the guy. But let's send him home to Dallas in the 1st round. Dallas gets human missile, Leon O'Neal. Screw Dallas anyway. Pick 29. The Chiefs get a big hand here, keeping that offense top flight for years to come with Missouri native and possibly the best wide receiver in the draft, in my opinion, Jameson Williams, sliding, not from that championship injury, but because of the theme. Yeah, they get a steal here. They bring a home state guy in a position they really want to touch anyway. Then pick 30, Bucks are back for their pick right here. They kind of do what they did last year, and they grab another high-speed, high-mobility edge player. But this time they get a local guy that is very surprising in coverage. Like, Nik Bonitto is really good in coverage for an outside linebacker. Like, this guy could probably play off-ball linebacker, in my opinion. And he'd be perfect for, like, a bandit role, like they play in college. Some teams use that bandit. He could do that at the NFL level. Oklahoma Sooner from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Great pickup here. I think he's going to test well enough that he's going to get looked at for the 1st round. Pick 31, the Titans. There's nobody in Tennessee. Come on, man. They trade back. The Chargers sneak back into the 1st round. And after their huge move earlier, they get an absolute steal, replacing Mike Williams, who's leaving in free agency, with Drake London, my favorite receiver in the class. Absolute monster. Turns into like a fullback after he catches the ball. He's like 6'5", only like 215 or something, but when he catches that ball, he just transitions into Jerome Bettis, starts running people over. Love the guy. Great pickup for the Chargers. Pick 32, the Packers, having hypothetically in this made that Rodgers trade, and Adams is gone, but they're getting capital back next year. And you know what? Green Bay takes one last opportunity here to get some ammo to build for the future while being petty as fuck and completely trying to screw Aaron Rodgers over by sending his new division rivals, the Chiefs, some more ammo to stand up against him. They trade their pick, the 32nd pick, to the Chiefs, and the Chiefs come in and they take the first linebacker in this draft, Kansas City native Devin Lloyd, possibly the best linebacker in the draft. The Chiefs ain't so good at linebacker. Green Bay helps them out here to try to hem up any of Aaron Rodgers' throws, across the middle. So there it is. Finally. Damn, that was rough, but it was a ton of fun. Sorry to New England, Arizona. Sorry, Green Bay. You know, Cards could cheat, reach across the border to Cali and grab Olave, I guess, if they want it. If not, they're going to have to wait till like day 3 for edge defender Tyler Johnson. They want to scratch that homer itch. Green Bay in the next round could grab Homer and quarterback hate machine Leo Chenal, linebacker, who just, it's like a heat-seeking missile for any ball carrier. But he could be a real presence in that linebacking core. And so, yeah, I made it through. I made a lot of players' moms happy that their little boys will still be close to home. You know, let me know what you think about this crazy scenario. It was 100% just for fun, except for the quarterback connections and like the first 3 or 4 picks, who I think have like a very real chance of going there. But yeah, let me know what y'all think about this goofy fun stuff. Please hit that like, subscribe down below. Remember to ring that bell. And yeah, if y'all watch it this far, I love y'all. Peace.